that was a good movie. Did you want to come over and talk about it or no?
Are you doing this without me or?
If you want to come over and talk about it with me, you can. If you feel shy, well, I can deal with that. Here. I'll hold him. That'll make him just as happy. Just go back to sleep, Shadow. It's okay. I got you.
I didn't realize we're...
He's like, what am I doing awake? I was asleep. I was happy.
Yeah, you're sleeping on my legs.
So we just watched Bird Box. And that was a good movie. I'm not sure why you call it Bird Box, though.
Because the birds were in a box the whole time. You got cat fur on your hat.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen with it being in a cat fur-filled house.
Your other hats aren't like that.
No, but this one attracts it, especially on the bill.
It does. It's the bill.
Yeah. Which you can't see on the camera anyways. So, Bird Box, I wanted to watch this because it was the most watched movie on Netflix ever in its first week. It's been such a big hit and it's been talked about so much. You would think it was cinematic. And I'm glad it wasn't. I don't think it would be I don't know, in the theaters, I don't know.
I'm sure it would do just fine in the theaters.
I guess. I think that it's a really good movie to enjoy from home as well, though. It's like a zombie apocalypse movie, but it's not quite zombies. They're kind of people offing themselves. I don't want to tell too much. I don't want to spoil it for people at all. So it's tricky to review this movie without any spoilers. But basically the idea is that something happens.
There's a something out
and they
there.
never explain it. And I have to say, in an era where Hollywood does everything to tell you everything that's going on in horror movies.
Previews drive me crazy.
And it drives me nuts in horror movies when they try to explain the origins of villains. We don't want the origins. We just want the scary movie. I don't care about why these guys do the crap they do. I just want to see the scary movie. Sometimes the unknown is better. For instance, in this movie, you never see the monster.
No.
You don't see it.
You have no idea what it is.
It makes sense because if you see it, you die. So it makes sense that we, the viewer, don't see it.
Right.
Because our heroes in this movie...
Even if you see it on video...
Right.
You die.
Right. So there is no safe way of viewing it. And
unless you're crazy?
Yeah. So it kind of has this really cool aspect to it that is terrifying at the same time, that it makes you kill yourself, or it doesn't. And for the people that it doesn't, and again, I'm trying not to give away spoilers, you kind of help it. So there's the people who are dying in the streets, and the people who are helping this thing, these things out. And again, the fact that you never know where it came from, you never know what caused it, you never find out anything about it, makes me scared, because it feels like something they could eventually go, hey, this movie did really well, we should do a prequel.
I know, I was actually
and show how it was released
this
from...
does so well. Are they going to continue?
Bird Box 2, the prequel, and how it was created by birds, and like, because the only way you know when they're around is that birds go nuts.
Yeah.
So birds go nuts if somebody who's infected or one of these creatures is around. Although that really...
It only kind of?
They sort of, but they don't have a great sense of people who are infected. They just seem to have a great sense of the monster itself.
Yes.
And again, I'm trying not to spoil it, but it really has a zombie movie feel to it. But it's a zombie movie feel of such that my wife actually, I think, enjoyed it.
It wasn't gory.
Yes, it was.
Kind of, but not really.
Lots of blood all over the place.
Yes, but it was different. Like, there were a couple spots that I looked away.
The only parts is they don't see anybody getting eaten.
Right, but
that's the difference between zombie movies and this.
You don't see any guts.
You see somebody get hit by a truck.
I didn't really see it.
Oh, you looked away?
Yes.
It's pretty awesome.
And there was a stabbing I looked away for that.
Oh, that was really nasty.
I looked away.
That was really nasty.
But you don't see any guts or...
Was it the machete or the scissors you looked away?
Scissors.
I figured with the scissors you looked away.
But you don't... It's really not that gory for...
People who don't look at the gore.
Killings. There's not, like, arms being lopped off. Or things like that. There's some stabbing and shooting. But it's not extra gory
and
how they do it.
You see decaying corpses in the street.
But it's not overdone.
No, I'm not saying it's overdone. But it is R-rated level gore. It's not a PG-13
yes, but you know how
movie here.
Most zombie movies, they're really gross.
Most zombie movies are really awesome.
Most zombie movies are really gross.
Dawn of the Dead is amazing.
This wasn't overly grotesque. It wasn't overly violent.
But what it has in common...
Because when people died, it was very quick.
I have to say that it did feel like a zombie movie in that television disappears quickly. Very quickly, government breaks down, power structures break down, and you're left to fend for yourself. But there were little bits and pieces that made me go, It seemed like electricity lasted for that whole 5 years. And it wouldn't.
Because I don't know that they actually had electricity. Once the kids were older, I don't know that they actually did.
Because
in the houses they were in, did they actually have the lights on?
I know there was
Most of it was during the day.
There was the series that used to be on about if people disappeared. So they had a series on, I think it was on Discovery, which was, the world without people, and it shows how long power grids would last, how long everything would last if mankind just was wiped out tomorrow. And electricity doesn't last a couple of weeks. It's just gone.
Right.
Because there's nobody to man any of the hydro dams. There's nobody to watch any of the power. Like, you'd have nuclear meltdowns, everything. So, electricity would be scarce very, very quickly in a post-apocalyptic world.
But people had generators and access to gas.
Yes.
Not that you see it.
No, but again, they don't really get into that.
No. But you don't really see them using electricity after the beginning with the house.
Right.
Which they're really only there for like 2 months.
Right.
You don't actually see them using electricity.
Did they say it was 2 months?
Because of how long the women were pregnant.
Oh, okay.
So maximum like 2 months.
There are moments in this movie where you go, "Oh God, they're stupid." There are moments
parts that we were both watching.
There are moments that's like, "Oh, what are you doing? Oh, don't do that. Oh, that's stupid." Post-apocalypse, when you know you're on your own, you don't trust a stranger at the door. That's a given in every zombie movie, and it works here. It works in 28 Days Later. At the start of 21 Weeks Later, which is kind of a fantastic movie too, in parts, not in its entirety. But there's a family that's hiding out from these rage monsters in 28 Weeks Later, and there's a knock at the door, and they argue over whether or not to answer it, and it's a little girl, and she's not infected, so like, we're gonna let her in. So they let her in. I think it's a little girl. I don't remember if it's a little boy or a little girl. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So they let this kid eat, and they're like, "You're starving," and he's like, "Yeah, I've been getting chased for days." And they go, "Chased?" And then you find out there's this horde of rage monsters that are honing in on this kid, and the kids led them right to the house. So this safe house that they've built gets destroyed in moments, because in 28 Weeks Later, if you get saliva or blood from one of these zombies on you, in your eyes, your ears, your mouth, you turn in seconds. 3 seconds, you turn. It is terrifying. And this movie kind of has that same aspect to it, where all hell breaks loose very quickly. It has long pauses where things are kind of docile, and that sets the stage really well. I don't like how in a lot of horror movies now, we're just going to pile on the gore. We're just going to pile up the body count.
Scares.
No, there wasn't a single jump scare, which surprised me. There wasn't a single one. Because there were parts where you could have put one in.
Where you put a jump scare.
Yeah, you could have put a few of them in, and they didn't do it.
No.
There was no jump scare in the movie.
Shadow, he's watching himself, I think.
He's a good kitty. But it's funny because they didn't do the Hollywood thing with this. They don't show the creature. They don't have a scene where people try to reason with it. They don't have a scene where people argue with it. They don't have a scene where it's just all of the usual Hollywood cliches aren't here. It's a kind of an old-fashioned throwback to like, I don't know, like 80s thrillers is kind of what this reminds me of. Sandra Bullock is fantastic in it. John Malkovich, as always,
I like John.
Is amazing.
As soon as I saw him, I go, "Oh, I like John."
See,
Malkovich.
and I knew John Malkovich was in it, so I thought, okay, as soon as
I only knew Sandra Bullock.
I thought as soon as she sees John Malkovich, she's going to be like, "And I'm in," because she loves John Malkovich. So he is the most reasonable person in the movie. He's the most rational, which means he's a jerk. And he's heartless because it's every man for himself. So there's a couple points in the movie where he's like, okay, we should just do this. And he's right. If they'd listen to him, nobody dies. There's 2 different occasions where he's like, okay, let's just do this. And he's right. And every time it's, don't do that. And somebody goes, I'm not listening to you. Somebody's going to die.
But I can understand why they didn't listen to
Because
him.
people have big hearts. And I can tell you, if it's the apocalypse
they're
tomorrow,
empathetic for the other people.
If it's the apocalypse tomorrow, sweetie, you're going to see my empathy go right out the window.
I know.
It is you, it is me, it is our children. We hop in the van. We can try to help friends and family, but not at the expense of ourselves.
Luckily, we don't have very many, so...
Not at the expense of ourselves.
No, not within close proximity.
I remember years back when I was raising my kids, and they were, I don't know, Ashley was probably 7 or 8, and Noah was 5 or 6. And we were talking about, in the case of a zombie apocalypse, and they agreed that their mother wouldn't make it because she smoked too much and her cardio would be really bad. So we might have to leave mom behind. And I was like, wow, I've raised really good kids. They're ready to sacrifice their mother in a zombie apocalypse. I've raised wonderful children. And then we were talking about certain kids, and they're like, oh, well, we would have to kill that kid. And I said, well, what if he's not infected? And like, he's really stupid. He's going to bring in zombies. We just kill him when we see him. And I was like, my kids are awesome. This is great. They know which living people need to go. This is perfect. So, we used to practice for the zombie apocalypse. We would actually, go, okay, so what do we do? And we had agreed, since we lived over top of a pizza place, you break out the floor, you board up the front of that pizza place, you've got enough dough and everything else in that place to last you for a while. And then we can branch out from there. We were all ready. We're like, all right, we're smashing out the floor and we take over the pizza place. Even though it's not legally ours, the laws are gone because it's the apocalypse. To hell with you. It's ours. I thought it was, and we were going to take over basically the whole building.
Right.
So, because we figured our neighbors weren't going to make it either.
Why would you take out the floor? Why wouldn't you go down the stairs and take out the wall?
Because you have to go outside.
No, take out the wall. So go down the stairs and go through the wall.
You're still going outside. That's still a common hallway. And there's glass at the bottom of that.
What about the stairway that went down to the little
basement room? At the floor level, you have a glass door there. That is zombie broken done.
The other stairs, the one in your house.
At the back?
Yeah, they went to that basement storage area.
That's a brick wall down there. That's brick.
Brick.
She's not gonna make it. My kids and I, we had it all figured out. We had it all figured out. We even knew which weapons in the house we were going to use. And where we were going to get them and how this was all going to work. It was great. And then there were arguments between my kids about which one was going to die first. Right. You know how kids are, right? But, this movie, Bird Box, kind of brought all that back. And I thought there were some really nice moments in this movie, too, where Sandra Bullock at the start is this kind of cold-hearted character who's pregnant and pretty sure she doesn't want to be pregnant. And as the movie goes along, you do see the character evolve. And it's not this schmaltzy Hollywood thing either, where, you know, the kid breaks their finger or busts their toe, and she's, oh my god, I realize I love my kids. No. It's this gradual realization she has that she does have affection for others, not just herself, and as much as she wants to build a wall up between herself and the rest of the world, it just doesn't work. And she plays the role very, very well. I thought it was the best acting I've ever seen her do. She was fantastic in this. I'm not sure of the other actors and actresses' names that are in it. I know I recognized a few of them.
Yes.
But, you know, there's some really good acting in this movie. There's a lot of good moments. There's some lighthearted moments in there too. But it's pretty relentless. Once it gets going, it's pretty relentless. And there were a couple of moments at the start that I thought hinted at maybe how this is transmitted or maybe how it gets started.
Yeah, we were trying to guess what was
They
going
don't
on at
tell
the very
you.
beginning.
There's a part where they framed two people being on cell phones, and it didn't look like it was an accident. They framed it that way, and I thought, now, is this electronic in how it's transmitted? Or maybe the girl saw a picture of this thing? Or something?
Or she was right by a huge window.
So, it's true. And then she
was by a huge window.
She dies a horrible death. That was horrific. And, yeah, that's where that goes. Sorry, Shadow. I know. You want to sleep. I'm going to put you right over here. There you go. But, yeah, it was...
Isn't that a kitty? There
yes, Bear's up there.
Video.
That was a really intense movie, though. Really, really good, intense movie. If I'm going to rate it, I'm going to give it a solid 9.5 out of 10. I don't want to give it a 10 because I give out 10s too much. So I'll give it a 9.5 because it makes it sound like I'm being, you know, discerning movie critic.
Right.
But it's great.
It's Shannon. Discerning.
If you have Netflix, watch it. It's fantastic. It's not for little kids.
No.
I'm glad we didn't watch it with the kids.
No, I think that would be too
I think even
much.
for the boys, that would have been a little bit intense.
I think Malachi would be fine with it. Gabriel, no.
I don't know if Malachi would get through that.
Malachi
the scissors
doesn't
part.
have... No, he's not bothered by stuff.
I don't know.
I wouldn't want him to watch it.
No.
But I don't think it would bother him. Gabriel, absolutely.
See, my kids at that age, it would have been fine. They, yeah, it was kind of not a big deal. I let them watch 28 Days Later, and everything was fine. Kind of, sort of. Nobody had any nightmares that night. We didn't have to stay up late, so we were good. But yeah, it's one of those movies it's you know, the world comes to an end. There's not very many people left at the end of the movie, but it doesn't skimp out on the character development, and right up until the very end, I didn't know what was going to happen. So there's that aspect of it. The fact that you kind of know where it could go, but because of the fact that it's still in that zombie genre, man, there are some zombie movies that ended really, really dark. Really dark. Like Dawn of the Dead after the credits dark, where you're like, oh, well, I shouldn't have watched after the credits, because now I'm just depressed. But, so if I watched it with her, I would just say, okay, the credits, and we're done. There we go. Okay, all right, there you go. There's your kind of happy ending. So it's a happy-ish ending. I mean, when you think about...
Yeah.
And I'm not going to spoil it again, but there's kind of a happy-ish moment at the end. And yet, if you really think about it...
It's not.
It's not. It is, and yet it's really not. I think and again, this is great with this movie, it doesn't tell you what's happening. It doesn't tell you what this thing is. You never find out any way to injure it, kill it, affect it, scare it away.
And the only way to protect yourself is to
Don't look
close
at it.
your eyes?
Don't look at it as the only thing you can do. That's it. And as soon as you look at it, dead. There is nobody in this movie that, which, again, your Hollywood standard would be that you'd have your one big hero that looks at the monster and fights its way through whatever its mind powers are and strangles it with its mind and something stupid. Michael Bay blows stuff up. So I'm really glad that this movie doesn't do that. It doesn't fall into those cliches. It's a really well put together movie. Kudos to the people who made it. This is the kind of stuff we want on Netflix. Stop putting out Adam Sandler crap. take those Adam Sandler movies and cram them right back into the bowels of hell that you dug them out from, and give us more movies like this. This is the kind of stuff we want, not Richie Rich, not more Fuller House. We want this. We want something that's interesting and intelligent. Now, if the cast on Fuller House was dealing with this monster thing and everybody starts stabbing themselves in the face, that's an episode of Fuller House I'll watch.
No, thank you.
Especially with the laugh track. You have to keep the laugh track in while people are dying and they're bleeding out on the floor. You know, that'd be really funny.
No.
You could do it with like a Blossom reunion and Joey. Whoa! Every time he sees somebody dead.
No.
I think it's a good idea.
No,
I do.
That sounds disturbing.
I do. Well, that's the point.
No.
Full House is disturbing on the surface of it because it's too sugary sweet to be reality. So you add some darkness, got yourself some good entertainment right there.
No.
Nobody would expect that. Nobody would see it coming. Wait, why did CJ shoot herself? What's going on? What happened? Why are they all dead? And then closing credits. What a way to go out, I tell you. Just be fantastic. Be the greatest finale since MASH.
Okay, that's enough.
See?
Shannon.
Gives me ideas of how to make Hollywood better. Just take out all those sugary sweet shows that aren't funny.
It's so weird.
It's true though. And I've hated them since I was a kid.
Okay.
I had a rule that if a show had "aw" in a track, if it's not really people saying it's not an audience, that's actually part of the laugh track, I will never watch it. That was a rule of mine. So there you go. Bird Box? Bird House?
Bird Box.
Bird Box.
Dork.
Bird Dork. There you go. It's Bird Dork. What? You said dork.
You're a dork.
You're a dork. I give it 9 out of 5. 9.5 out of 10.
9 out of 5.
9 out of
Wow.
5. It's a good
That
movie.
good, eh?
Yeah. So 9.5 out of 10. What would you give it?
Probably 9.
See, we both really, really enjoyed it. You didn't find anything stupid either. You didn't find anything stupid in a movie. I'm so proud of you.
There was like little movie inconsistencies, but you know.
They weren't anything major.
No, just little things like.
But
like
I think
the tie
I think there were a couple of
and
little.
then the next shot, it's. Tight.
There's a couple of little moments that I think were in there on purpose to make the audience go, "Wait, what?" I think there are a couple of there's a character that you think everything's okay, and then you find out it's not. And I think where we noticed something with that character after, I think they intentionally misled us and took us in one direction. So when they flipped the script, although I saw it coming, I told you right away. I said this isn't right. I don't new. I don't like that. That's new. New. That's a bad one. And then I was right, and I was never so upset to be right in my life. But there you go. Being John Malkovich, very good movie.
That's a good movie too.
Yeah,
I really like that movie.
All kidding aside, Bird Box. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's amazing. It's on Netflix, and Netflix is free now, right?
What?
Isn't it?
What are you talking about?
It's free, right?
No.
We don't pay for this crap, do we?
Yeah. Dork.
Watch it anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Don't hit me. You were talked to about that. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.